So managing and building a sales pipeline is the key central start to a sales process. And there are really 5 easy steps to doing this. There's lead generation, qualification, needs assessment, doing a survey, finding out what the needs of that customer are, and then doing a presentation and proposal, and finally closing the sale. So these 5 steps are an easy way to track and step through the process of completing the sale. One of the first differences you're going to find in the point of sale area is that this takes about 60 to 90 days to complete. There's really rarely a one and done type of sale where you walk in, meet the owner, do the qualification, needs assessment, proposal, and do the closing of the sale all in one visit. It's just really rarely does that ever happen. In my 38 years, I've only done it twice. So it's a real rare occasion when that happens. So let's step through now and talk about where you can get your leads. I've got the 7 here that I know of that I use that are in order of, let's say, importance. First off, are referrals. They are the most valuable. They are the easiest to obtain. They're the lowest cost to obtain, and they are the best ones to have. Next up are orphans. Now, this may be a new term to some of you. An orphan account is one that's been in business that has been sold by either your company or someone else, and they've been forgotten. They haven't been contacted in a long time, maybe 3, 4, 5 years or ever. An orphan is looking for someone to help them, and they are a really good source if you can find them. Next up is a leads group. This is a group of salespeople who get together on a regular basis. The leads groups that I've had in the past were we met weekly for lunch, and we exchanged leads. Lead groups are a really good place to find and execute leads. Cold calls, there's nothing like pulling doors. There's a lot of people who've been very successful doing so. Don't discount this. This is a good lead source. Website leads. The modern day buyer will most often, a lot of times, bypass all other approaches and do their own research. They will find you based upon your website and how it's ranked. Your website will be your first contact with a lot of your customers. They will make a decision whether to do business with you solely based upon the look, feel, and the information of your website. So it is critical that you have a good one. Trade show leads. These are diminishing in value in years past. Before the internet, trade show was well up on the list. You would get some good quality leads from a trade show. 30, 40, 50 good ones would be easily seen from a trade show. Purchased list. These, to me, are the worst of the bunch. They are, and I'll go into it a little bit later when we start qualifying the leads, but a purchase list is valid. It is a place to get leads, but of the 7, this is my opinion, the worst of the group. Next up is qualification. That is making sure that the lead you're talking to is qualified. There are 3 steps to the lead qualification. First off, they have to have the need to buy. If they are a brand new owner, it is a restaurant or a business that has a brand new system that they're leasing for 3 years, they probably don't have the need to buy. They may have regretted their buying decision, and you'll find plenty of those, but they may not have the actual need to purchase a system. They've got one, it's under lease. So they have, in order to be qualified, they have to have the need to buy. Also, you need to be talking to the decision maker or decision makers. Be sure that you're not talking to a gatekeeper, somebody who's trying to be the forefront to keep you away from the decision maker. Next up is they have to have the ability to pay. If they're non-leasable, If they don't have the cash, then how can they afford to buy your system? And their answer is they can't. So they have to have all three of these in order to be a qualified lead. Any one of these, if they're missing, if you're moving ahead with this, then you're just practicing. You're not really going to get the sale. Next up is needs assessment. This is sometimes called the survey. You want to find out about their business and their operations, and the way to do that is to have operational questions. Ask about their food costs, their bar costs, their liquor costs, their labor costs. Ask about the flow of their business and how they are, how they're processing orders in the kitchen. Find out if they are using handwritten tickets versus a kitchen printer. Could they use a kitchen display system to speed things up? Do they have a hostess? Do they take reservations? What's their average wait time? Find out those questions that you then can use in the presentation part of the sale. Find out what they currently are using for a point of sale system and what do they like about it. Because you want to make sure that if they like the feature, that you have that feature. Then this just the opposite. What don't they like? What is it they are looking to do? What don't they like about their current system? What is it lacking? What would they like to improve within their operation? You have to find out these things, and the survey or the assessment is the way to do that. You're going to learn, and when we get into the needs assessment, we're going to analyze this quite a bit, and you're going to look for and find the return on investment points that you're going to use to cost justify the system. Next up is the presentation and proposal. You notice I don't use the word quote. A quote is what you get from an insurance agent. A proposal is something you get to solve a problem. You're going to propose a solution to their problems, and you're going to do that through a presentation. You're going to cover the key ROI points and the pain points that you gathered from your needs assessment. You're going to target and focus on those areas that they are most painful. Therefore, they will be ready to move ahead with the sale because they want to get rid of their pain points, and they are always looking for a return on investment. You're also going to learn how to show purchase options. This is not just a meet or beat type of sale. This is a actual proposal where you're going to solve problems. You're going to show this purchase price, full price. You're going to say this is a system that contains, and you're going to list out the items. And it's going to have a investment of $10,000. And you're going to also show then a Aldelo Pay, where if they an Aldelo Pay solution, where if they do process with Aldelo Pay, the software is in no charge, the support is at no charge. That is now showing a discount of $1,000 per license. So showing a purchase, full price purchase, and then showing the Aldelo Pay option with free software and support allows you to show a discount before they ask for the discount. That then leaves you with the option of giving a lease price for the hardware, and in that you should have in your back pocket the the proposal for the all-in-one terminal, which is the most expensive, but also have a two-piece solution that can then be your go-to if they say the price is too high for the all-in-one. And then if they then object to the two-piece price, if they still say it's too high, then you can come back with a other than new, a refurbished or used piece of hardware that can then be even a lower price. Some of our dealers actually go as far as to have the ability to quote a $79 a month price per terminal for hardware, and then they finance it themselves. So show the purchase options that are best for your operation. And then finally, ask for the order. You've earned it. So let's get that order and be happy and proud to be able to ask for it. Now, you're also going to want to stay away from the negative words. You don't want to say sign the contract. You want to say approve the paperwork. You don't want to say write a check for the down payment. You want to say we're going to ask for a 50% initial investment. It's a lot easier to do once you start using those terms, those positive terms. You'll see how the negative of asking for the order, the negative goes away. So in tracking a pipeline, what are you going to track? In our situation, in our business, you're going to track the mids. You're going to track how many mids you're going to quote for the processing. And then you're going to have terminal licenses, because you're now actually selling point of sale in addition to the credit card processing. You're going to have hardware, and you're going to have services, and you're going to have those type of options that go along with the sale. So you're going to want to track your dollars. And then the number of proposals and the proposals that you have out. So tracking all this, what's it going to do for you? Well, it allows you to know your numbers. And in doing so, you'll be able to project sales for the upcoming at least quarter. So you'll know what's coming up. You'll know the number of mids by month. You'll know the number of licenses to be sold by month. And you'll be able to track your dollars by month. You'll learn what your closing percentage is. And when we get to the closing aspects of this and we get into that part of the training, you'll find how the majority of our dealers have less than a 50% closing rate, and how we need to work on getting that number to at least 50%, and the goal is to get you to a 75% closing rate. This will allow you to make the same number of cold calls, have the same number of leads coming in, but then double, or in some cases triple, the sales that you're enjoying by just increasing your closing percentage. You also want to know your numbers so you can look for the gaps where you have slow months and downturns in trends coming. We know in the point of sale industry, first quarter, second quarter are the two best quarters of the year. Third quarter will slack down and slow down just a bit, where fourth quarter usually is the slowest of the year. It comes in cycles. It cycles through every year. So you'll be able to project your slow months, see when those are coming, and see if you can move sales from one month to the other in order to smooth things out and level things out. This will help you, by doing a pipeline, will help you stay ahead of any potential problems that you have. So I'm going to now pause just for a second. I'm going to bring up a actual spreadsheet where we go into the number. So this is an Aldelo Pay Sales Pipeline. This is a spreadsheet that we're going to provide everyone on the call today. You're going to get this. From here, you'll be able to do a lot of your pipeline work. This is not a CRM. This is a pipeline report. So I'll show you how this works. You're going to put in the account name and the proposal date and the last contact date. You want to contact these proposals within the first 24 to 48 hours after you give them the quote. If you don't, you're going to start losing those to competition. Expected close month. So you should know when they're opening, when they're going to need their business, when they're going to need the solution installed. So you're going to want to put in and choose the month that they're going to go into. Go ahead and grade the system or grade the proposal. What do you think it is? It's an A, B, C, or D. You really feel good about it, make it an A. If it's kind of iffy, maybe got some stiff competition, you can lower that to a B, C. And if they're just going away, you can leave it as a D or take it off altogether. For now, let's put it on this with A. And then, have you submitted the app? Yes or no. This will help us track how many mids you have coming. And then the proposal amount for the hardware. Now, what this has done is taken the A rating and giving you 100% credit for that in the prorated amount. If you reduce that to a B, it's going to give you an 80%, and a C is a 70, and a D is a 60%. The one thing I don't like about these type of projections is you either get the sale or you don't. You don't get 60% of the sale if it's a D. You get all or nothing. But this is how pipeline reports generally run, so this is why I built it this way. And then you need to put how many licenses you're going to track. And as you go through and add in your other accounts that you have proposed, then you'll see how this is now going to add up. Now you're starting to see where your April numbers and your May numbers are starting to come into play. You can now see where you have sales in April, May, and June. These are projected. You'll see how many mids you have for each month and the number of licenses per month. And then here's the totals on to the right here. This will help you project what's coming up and help you kind of manage your business so that your cash flow is more equal and at least projected, and you can look for problems. If you have nothing coming in June, you know now that there's a problem and you need to get out and find somebody who's going to be in that closing in that time frame. Okay, I think we've covered all this.